in Milwaukee. I just looked it up on the NBA website. They posted the referee crew.
Who the refs?
And it doesn't matter. It's not Scott Foster. And so I am giving the Suns a way better shot tonight. In fact, I might even pick them. We'll see in just a few minutes.
You ain't picking us up.
I just might.
We got to get some dual things.
We might have a few things to bet on. Yes, we will be all over Game 4 predictions just a bit. Jake Paul will join us later. That should be interesting. But we got some big news. And Skip, I know that you're all over this one. Yesterday, the Clippers announced that Kawhi Leonard underwent surgery to repair a partial tear in his ACL. Kawhi missed the team's final 8 playoff games with the injury, but the team only listed him as day-to-day with a sprained right knee. Kawhi has a player option and can opt out this offseason if he chooses. So, Skip, I need to ask you first. This is your team. This is Kawhi. How will this impact Kawhi's free agency decision?
Skip, before you go, I know you're going first, but you were ahead of this. You beat Woj. You beat Shams. You beat everybody. You said this was a more serious injury and he was going to require surgery. You said that, and everybody's looking at you sideways.
They were.
Now, we're going to give you your flowers here.
Thank you.
Carry on.
Appreciate that very much. So, given what I have been reporting, given the fact that Kawhi and his inner circle believed that the Clippers staff misdiagnosed this injury from day one, I am now not going to be at all shocked if we get another Kawhi bombshell a la 2 years ago on July 5th when we here in L.A. had a serious earthquake, followed about an hour later by a bombshell report that just when everybody thought Kawhi was going Lakers, 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 just when LeBron was telling the reporters he was closest to, we got him, we got him, we got him. He went Clippers. And now I'm not so sure that he won't go elsewhere. I have no idea where elsewhere would be. I'm sure Pat Riley would like to get in the middle of this. I'm sure the Knicks would. I don't think Kawhi would go to the Knicks because I don't think he'd think they have enough chance to win. But I don't know. Maybe the Heat. We'll see. But my point is, things have now changed with the Clippers, very possibly for the worst. So let's quickly walk back through what happened. So it's Game 4 at Staples. They are about to even it up, the series with Utah, at 2-all because they're up 17 with 5:25 left. And if we could see the play, just to remind everybody what happened, it didn't look that bad. He got bumped by Joe Ingles on kind of a semi-break, just bumped sideways, and he came down a little bit awkwardly and wrong on his knee, just a little bit awkwardly there on the knee. And the ACL tore slightly, not hugely. It didn't rupture. It just tore a little bit. So what did I do the next day? Well, I was a little skeptical about whether he would even play in Game 5. And you said, oh, come on, it's Game 5. He's got to play now because it's 2-all. And they'd come back against Dallas. Now they have a chance to come back against Utah. Guess what? He needs surgery, which I reported the next day to you across this table. And they did not even tell the Clippers exactly what was happening because they were so upset that the Clippers medical staff had misdiagnosed. So what did the TV networks continue to do? Whoever had the games, they would just go game to game and say, well, Kawhi's day-to-day here. He's sort of a game-time decision with a, what did they keep reporting? A sprained knee. A sprained knee? And I'm saying, man, I got it on really good source. It's torn, and he needs surgery. So Kawhi started to come to the games. He set up in the box, as you knew, and then I thought it was a semi-good sign that final game, Game 6 at Staples, he actually came down out of the box where he had his family.
Sat on the sidelines.
Sat on the sidelines at the end of the bench. Didn't really cheerlead because he doesn't cheerlead much. That's just what he is. But they did say he was actively involved in game planning from game to game by FaceTiming Ty Lue. So the point is that now he had the surgery, and the Clippers weren't even aware that he was going to have the surgery until Kawhi and company called them yesterday and said, we need to go ahead and release that we had surgery. Well, I'm going to hand it off to you now, because how much would that scare you if you're the Clippers, that you were completely out of this loop through all those playoff games, that he even needed surgery?
Right. I would be petrified because he's a guy that if he felt he's been wrong or he felt you haven't taken, because he felt the San Antonio wasn't taking his injury
I'm glad
serious.
you brought that up, because we saw this. It feels like this is deja vu.
That was the beginning of the end. When you say it's a sprain, he goes outside and it's partially torn. Well, he's not going to trust you the same. He doesn't look at you the same. Now, Skip, I don't believe this will have any impact in his free agency, because if you get a chance to get a guy like Kawhi, I'll give you a prime example. Kevin Durant tore his Achilles, and teams were still lining up at the door that says, I'll take as long as you want. As long as we have Kevin Durant in our uniform, be it next year or the year after, we're willing to wait.
Obviously, there's some doubt that he won't ever be Kevin Durant again,
Correct.
but guess what? He was, and he is.
But we were willing to take the chance.
They were.
Even if he's not,
we're right.
Correct.
Yep.
That's the same thing with this young man here. You're willing to roll the dice and says, we believe that he's going to come back, but if he doesn't, oh well. But at least we got him out. Skip, I've given up trying to figure out what Kawhi Leonard is going to do. And I think everybody should give that up.
I would agree.
Because the moment you think you know what he's going to do something totally opposite of what you think he should do. But he was going to do this all along. Only he and Uncle Dennis really knows what's going to transpire. Now, you know, I've been reading just like a lot of other people. Well, if he opts in and then he can sign next year and get 205, or if he opts out, the max he can get is this and that.
Okay, it's very complex. Because you can make a case, if he opts in, he loses a little up front, but you can go out farther, and in that fourth year, you can get $50 million.
Correct.
So it's a real close call.
But it needs to be with the Clippers.
With the Clippers.
Correct. You can only you can't max it out. You can only get 4 years if you go to another team. So for me, Skip, this is I hate seeing this, because he was playing unbelievable. And he talked about it because they asked him, Skip, they said, well, so what are you going to do? He's like, obviously, if I'm healthy, I'm going to opt out. That would be the smart business thing to do. Yeah. Well, it still might be the smart business thing to do, because you're Kawhi. You're a superstar. You're one of those 5 players that every team will move heaven and earth. They've already moved it. Skip, they gave up 2022, 24, 26 first rounders. They swapped 23 and 25. So they've already moved heaven and earth.
They have this year's first round, and that's the only one in the next 7 years that they have. Yes. And it's mostly because of Kawhi Leonard. Right. And Paul George.
Well, he said, well, if you don't get me Paul George, and Sam Presti says, how bad y'all want Paul George? So if Kawhi says, I want the moon, Steve Ballmer's going to go to Jeff Bezos, or he's going to go to Richard Branson and say, how much for one of them Jets to get Kawhi to the moon? Because that's what he wants. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to keep him here.
That is true.
So for me, Skip, I don't know what Kawhi is going to do. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I do know. I just know he still has all the leverage. It's not like football, Skip. You know, you tear an ACL or you tear an Achilles in a contract year, the team has all the leverage. Okay. Everybody has the leverage over you, but not in that sport, because superstars move the needle. They can change the fortune. We talk about the Clippers. We never talked about the Clippers before Kawhi got there.
No.
Especially since Chris Paul and Lob City left. So he still has the leverage. Somebody is still going to be willing to move Kawhi. What can we do? What do we need to do to get you?
What did we just see? He averaged 38 and 4 through the playoff run, as long as he lasted. 38 and 4. And there were nights when I said, that just might be
the best player.
That might be the best player going both ways. Right. And in PER, if you take everybody's total for the playoffs, he still leads the whole playoffs in PER. And for the record, Giannis is 7th in player efficiency rating. Right. So Kawhi was putting up huge numbers. Yeah. It was almost like he was making a contract surge in the playoffs because he knew he had a chance. Right. And listen, I don't care who you are or how big or little your ego is. Everybody loves to get wined and dined. Yeah. And he really enjoyed the process he went through. Remember all those surreptitious secret flights here and there? Is he in Toronto or is he not in Toronto? Did he stay? You know, what is he doing? Well, I think we're in for another round of that this time. A lot of secret meetings, a lot of secret phone calls, nobody knowing, everybody, all the media. at his beck and call, guessing, because they don't talk to the media.
Right.
There's nobody from the Wojs to the Shams who have an in with that group because they just stonewall everybody.
Yeah, normally.